Hello and welcome to the basement. A friend of mine reached out to me the other day, Ben, and he said he has a Game Boy which doesn't work anymore. So he's dropped it off. We're going to have a look at it today and see if we can get it working. Now Ben, who dropped off the Game Boy, he has a really cool art channel. So if you're interested in art and how it comes to be, like he shows it all on his channel and goes through the process of how he draws and how he creates stuff, I'll link to his channel in the description down below. Now having a look at his Game Boy, I can already see something wrong with it. Looks like there's something stuck in the slot. So let me just see if I can... Oh, there's a PCB stuck in the slot. Which reminds me, if you are needing a PCB, you need to check out PCB Way. Now, PCB Way is a great place for you to go if you want quality printed circuit boards. Not only do they do printed circuit boards, but you can also get CNC machining, you can get 3D printing, they prototype all your stuff, you can get it pre-assembled. There is a whole bunch of projects in their library that you can just click and they'll send it to you. You can build and enjoy. So get on over to PCB Way. It's the place to go for your PCBs. So thanks PCB Way for sponsoring today's video. Right, back to the Game Boy. So the Game Boy Color sold over 118 million units, introduced in '98 and sold all the way through to 2003. So a good 5-year model run, and man, they must have shipped heaps of these. So there is something wrong with this one. We're going to get it on the bench and we'll turn it on, see what the issue is, and then see if we can fix it for Ben. Right, so here's the machine, Game Boy Color. This is a purple one, and it's pretty standard Game Boy. So you got your control surface on the top here with your select and start buttons, speaker down here, power indicator light here, and if we have a look on the side, we've got our power switch. On the back we've got our cartridge slot, and there's a hatch for batteries. Thanks Ben, he put a couple of batteries in for us, so we don't have to go and find a power supply which you would plug into. You plug in there? No, that's for an extension, so the power would plug in at the bottom. So that's the power slot and headphones. And we've got a volume control here on the side as well. So first of all, let's turn it on and just see if it has any power. And the lights come on, and we've got the Game Boy, but you can see the Nintendo's blacked out. Now, I'm not sure whether it should do that or not, but it doesn't have a cartridge in, so it wouldn't do anything anyway. So let's just turn it off. And I've got a couple of cartridges, so we'll try Tetris. And turn it on, and we can see that the Nintendo is all kind of garbled there, and it should clearly say Nintendo, and if it doesn't say that, the game won't load. Now I know the game's original, so it's not a matter of having a bootleg game which is stopping it from working, but I'll just try this cartridge here. And yeah, so that's the same deal. So the Nintendo looks all kind of weird. So there's something going on inside the unit. So let's have a closer look around the back. Now, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but these are very strange looking screws. They're sort of a tri-lobe design. So I'll see if I've got the right bit for those, because we're going to need to get inside this and see what's going on. So I do happen to have one, which is great. Before we take it apart though, we're going to remove the batteries, and we'll have a look just for any corrosion that might be around the battery bay, because that might be causing issues. And that all looks pretty clean, so I think we're fine there. But we have exposed another couple of screws, so it's a good thing we did that. So now we've undone them all, let's see if we can split the case. Oh, it comes apart quite easy. That's great. Ah, it's so easy. And now we're getting a look inside the Game Boy Color. So we've got the CPU up here, and this is where the cartridge slots into. And we've got all the display stuff on the other side of here as well. It's not a lot to it, it's pretty compact design, but let's have a look around and see if we can see what is causing that issue. Okay, so do you see what I can see here? One of these pins is not like the others. One of these pins just isn't the same. And it's that one right there. You can see it looks like it's been pushed out of place. So I think that might be the issue. It's just not getting, it's just not making contact on the cartridge. So why don't we see if we can take this off and we can expose. Yeah, look, if we look at the back here, we can see that's sticking out. So somewhere along the line, that pin has been pushed and bent around somehow. Okay, it looks like we are not able to take this black thing off, I think, without desoldering all of these, which I really don't want to do. I was hoping that these clips, if I undid them, that would just lift off, but I don't think it's going to. We may have to try and fix that pin with it in situ. Okay, I'm going to try and straighten it out. If I can get a pick behind it. It's annoying, I can't get in there. Okay, I've got it. It's just a matter of finding the right tool. So these pointy tweezers are thin enough to get in there and strong enough to lever the pin back around. So you can see I'm in behind the pin. It's pretty hard to see, isn't it? And I'm pushing it forwards. All right, we're most of the way there. If we look at the back, we can see it's not sticking out anymore. So they're all in line. But it still appears to be shorter than the others. So I wonder if a piece of it has already snapped off. But you know what? Let's try it, putting the cartridge in and seeing if it works. Okay, I've put it back together. I'm just holding it together. I haven't put the screws in because I just want to test if it works. So I'll throw the batteries in. Oh, it must be on already. Let's turn it off. And we'll put the skateboarding cartridge in, turn it on. No, still the same, still the garbled Nintendo, so that's not going to work. And we want to see if we're actually getting a connection onto the cartridge. So if I touch the connection at the back, that one traces through to here. And you can see we're getting it's working fine, it's getting a connection. Okay, it looks like it's working. So hang on, let's turn that down. So I tested all the continuity, as you saw, and everything was fine. So I'm still running on half a cartridge. And whether that makes a difference, or maybe there was something wrong with the cartridge. So I think it's working. Okay, false alarm. It's still not working. Now it works fine on the Tetris cartridge, so I can plug that in and everything works fine. But when I tested it out on a different one, so this is a Pokemon cartridge. I've just pulled it apart for another reason, which I'll talk about in a second. But this cartridge, it must be slightly thicker, and when I plug it in, it's fine until it hits that pin. And if you can see on the back, I've marked sort of where the pin is, and as I push it in, and you see that, the pin now is pushed all the way back out. So the issue is, I'll get a bit of paper and show you what's going on. Okay, so the pins inside this piece here, they look like this. And they have a piece that comes down here and then it goes down through the circuit board. Now, as you slide the cartridge in, it hits that piece of the pin there and it pushes this up out of the way and the cartridge slides in underneath. Now, the problem is our broken pin is broken around about here. So, of course, when we slide the cartridge in, it just bumps into the end of it. Instead of lifting out of the way, it just pushes the pin and bends the whole lot backwards. So that's what's happening. Now I have a cunning plan. When I pulled apart the skateboarding game, I noticed that this contact wasn't connected to anything, and we can see on this one, this Pokemon game, which contains a battery because it has saves and stuff in it, that's still not connected to anything. So I just wanted to check on a more advanced cartridge like the Pokemon one, which has the battery, if that pin or that contact did anything, and it doesn't. So my plan is to desolder the pin that normally goes there and swap it, or put it where that one is, and maybe we can rebend that one if we pull it right out of the housing and fix it that way. So I'm going to try. Okay, I have got the pin out of the housing, so you can see that's been bent just all the way back around. I'm pretty sure if we try and straighten that out, it's going to snap, but I might just try and straighten that out. No, I think that's it. Yeah, thought it would. Yeah, so I do wonder if I can reform this one with a little bend on it, so it looks a bit like this one, and that saves us having to try and pull that other pin out. That's kind of the right shape at this end here, and I've got to try and get that end back through the circuit board as it pushes underneath the bracket. Okay, I've got the pin in, and I've managed to get it to poke back through the hole underneath. What we want to test is if we put this fatter cartridge, this blue Pokemon one, if it bends that pin out of the way again, or if it slides underneath it like we want. Okay, so far so good. Nothing pushed out the back. Right, so I got that pin in and tested it out. It was working on the blue cartridge, but none of the other cartridges. And if you have a look, the blue cartridge is ever so slightly thicker here than the others. And so it puts a little bit more pressure on the pins, and it was obviously contacting my panel beaded pin and working, but my little panel beaded pin wasn't connecting the other cartridges. So I pulled the pin out from that wasn't being used, which is part of my original plan, and you can see compared to the one we panel beaded, that's quite a lot shorter. So this one has that proper little kink in it that it needs, and what we'll do is we'll put this where this one was. We'll get rid of that one. Okay, I've got it in. I don't recommend doing this. It's really hard to try and get it in that way. Like you're trying to push it this way and also down at the same time through the hole. So it's sitting in the bracket nicely. I can just see the leg here, so I'm hoping the solder will connect all that. And if we look down into the connector, it looks like a factory one. It looks perfect. So obviously we've got one missing down here. That's now down here, and look at that, you can't even tell which one it is. So I'm pretty hopeful this time around we're going to fix it. Okay, before I screw it together, let's try this one, which is the fat cartridge. Yep, it works. But the moment of truth is we'll try the skateboarding one, which is the thin cartridge. Yes, it's working. So that pin swap has solved the issue. I'll just try a couple more just to be sure. Oh, that one is not working, but that may be the cartridge. Let's try that a few times. Nope, still no joy on that one. I might try cleaning this cartridge. Okay, I've cleaned the contacts with some IPA and a bit of rag. So let's see if that has made any difference to it. Yeah, great. So that's all it was, just dirty contacts on that one cartridge. And yeah, it's loading. So I'm calling it fixed for the second time. So hopefully this time it has actually fixed. I've tried it on all the cartridges I've got here. It seems to be working on all of them. So I'll put the screws back in and call it done. Well, looks like it is all working. So I'm really happy with that fix. It was pretty fiddly swapping that pin from one side to the other, but I managed to get it in there and now it's working. The only problem is if a cartridge actually uses that pin, it won't work on this machine. But all the cartridges I've tried are working, so that is great. So Ben's going to be happy. His Game Boy is fixed. I might not tell him straight away. I might need a couple of weeks of testing. So Ben, if you see this video, it's not quite ready. I'll give you a call when it's ready. So if you've enjoyed this video, I'm happy for you. You've been in the basement. Have a great day.